Well, good morning. We are in Kuala Lumpur, and today we're going to talk about 6 different things that people usually say it's kind of like the trending thing right now, is we're going to quit this, cut this out of your life, end everything. And for me, I live my life in moderation. I actually understand what people are talking about when they say, hey, I don't think we should do any of this, cut this out completely. I get it. However, there's always a flip side to the coin. There's even evidence that many of these things in our lives can be beneficial, but in moderation. And that's the way I live my life. We're going to talk about those today, and then we're going to get a great bite to eat as well. About halfway through the video, I'm going to take you to a really cool area and a great pizza restaurant. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to use the monorail system to get from one place to another, and the new hotel that I am staying in, kind of in a little hotel review at the end. We've got a lot to talk about today. We're not taking any moderation in this video. There's going to be a lot going on. Let's go. I enjoy coming to this park behind the towers to have these conversations. It's a great way to get the morning going. We're not going to start out with a slouch. No. We're going to talk about alcohol. When I first started this retirement phase of my life back in 2022, one thing that I noticed is I was not drinking much alcohol anymore. In fact, as the last 2 years have gone by, I have noticed that even a small amount of alcohol can give me kind of like physical pains the next day. Not just a headache, but body aches. It's like my body is rejecting alcohol at this point in my life. In my 50s, that's kind of interesting. But nonetheless, it's just a fact. And so I have lived a life now of moderation of alcohol. What do I do for alcohol? I generally have myself a nice glass of red wine when I'm having a meal or something along those lines. But the reality is, I'm not even doing that very much. In fact, the only times that I really have red wine is when I'm showing it to you here on these videos. And there have been studies that show that a little red wine can actually be beneficial. In fact, one amazing study that's ongoing, it's not stopped, it continues to go, is the study of people that are in their 90s and then over 100. That studies has been going on for a long time here in America and overseas, and they have noticed that there is a common trend of minimal use of alcohol of people that live longer. Does that mean I'm saying that we should drink alcohol? Nope. What it is saying is I'm not going to worry about drinking a little bit of red wine with my meals now and then, because I live my life in moderation. The next big one, and very important, is sugar. Sugar and carbohydrates kind of go together, but I'm going to talk about the two of them separately. The reason being is there's a point that I want to make on carbohydrates. When it comes to sugar, your body craves it because it converts it into quick energy. And if you're not living a lifestyle that burns that energy that day, guess what happens to that sugar? Well, it gets converted into glycogen and goes right to your liver. And as that builds up over time, you can find yourself being pre-diabetic and then diabetic. You can have obesity. All of these problems come with it. Your body doesn't necessarily need all this glycogen. It wants it. The same way that like ants want to crawl to sugar, you know? Your body's like, give me some more of that sugar. But you certainly do not need that much in your lifestyle. Even people that are doing something like a triathlon and they have to have that energy throughout the day, just taking sugar, that's not going to be what they need. But it might actually give them just a little burst, and then they have other means of getting that energy as well. And I have practiced in my lifestyle now moderation of sugar. I haven't removed sugar. No, in fact, I am a lover of chocolate, and I have been pretty much all my life. But I'm not going to eat too much of it, okay? I'm not going to eat a bunch of chocolate. I am going to enjoy a little bit of chocolate, though, with my morning coffee. And that's what I have done for moderation in my life. I will buy a nice bar of chocolate, and sometimes I even buy sugar-free chocolate too, but sometimes I just buy a bar of milk chocolate. And I will have myself a square with my coffee in the morning. You see, I'm not going to cut chocolate out of my life because I find chocolate to be one of the joys of my life. But at the same time, I'm going to be smart and I'm going to use common sense, and I'm going to live my life in moderation of some of these vices so that they don't end up on my midsection and they don't start throwing off my blood sugar count. I exercise every day and I eat chocolate in moderation. Now we're going to talk about carbohydrates. And as we talk about carbohydrates, we're going to discuss this right before we go get ourselves some delicious pizza. As you know from my videos, I love pizza, and it's true, I do. I grew up with pizza. I spent much of my time as a young person on the East Coast eating some of the best pizza in the world. And now as an adult, I have to think about how much I eat in carbohydrates. And I usually make it maybe one day out of every week that I will go have an Italian meal because I love carbohydrates, but I can't eat it the way I did when I was in my 20s. I used to be able to eat a tremendous amount. I used to be able to boil myself an entire pound of spaghetti, just dump some sauce on there and eat it. I wouldn't gain a pound. That's not true today. And the blood sugar levels, yeah, that's not good at all. It's gonna spike your blood sugar levels, and again, it's gonna pack on those pounds, okay? Because that's what happens. It overflows from your liver and starts getting packed onto your midsection. Right now, my plan is to try to eat carbohydrates really one day out of every week. And other than that, I keep it very minimal. I don't want to eat big plates of carbohydrates. If there's a little something on the side of a meal, that's one thing, but I keep it very minimal and almost at a point of zero. If I'm choosing side dishes for a meal the rest of the week, I'll try to choose something with beans or another meat dish on the side. And that has worked out very well for me. It's helped me stay trim, and I think that it's also helped me regulate the sugar in my system as I'm now in my 50s. I love carbohydrates, but I am very practical and reasonable in how much I eat of pizza and pasta and rice. I'm very careful about it, and I hope that you are as well. Again, you know what's best for you, but in my eyes, I want you to be healthy and I want you to live your best life. That being said, today's the day, which is why we're talking about this. Let's go get some great pizza. Let's go.
Heritage Pizza is located at The Row. If you search for The Row when you're in Kuala Lumpur, you're going to find an amazing array of shops and cafes and restaurants. It is a cool indoor-outdoor feel walking area that's done really nicely. And Heritage Pizza is fantastic. I'm going to show you how they make their pizza. It's delicious. Let's enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Service, please.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Oh, thank you. Whew, look at that. That looks fantastic. Thank you so much. This whole meal came up to $25 American. That's an incredible price. This is delicious pizza. They do a great job here. I had a nice glass of red wine on the side, and I had the caprese salad as well. For $25, that's incredible. This is a great place to stop by and try the fantastic pizza. There's so much more in the menu. One of the people across from me ordered this massive calzone. I was like, oh my God, I want to try that too. Oh yes, what a nice ending to a good Italian meal. A little grappa. That really just hits the spot. Fantastic, and ice cold too. Ha ha. Explain now, what is this now, this sorbet?
It's a fruit called sour soap. It's
Sour soap.
tropical country fruit from Southeast Asia. I think there is a version also in South America. And we make fresh sorbet with the real fruit.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you. All right, let me give it a try. Thank you so much, Heritage Pizza. What an incredible pizza. They're very serious about what they do here. Definitely come by and enjoy. Let's talk about tobacco use. Now, I've never been very big into tobacco use of any kind. However, in my 40s, I started getting into trying different cigars. And I even got into trying different pipe tobaccos. I don't really travel with any of it. When I get to a destination, maybe I'll look for a cigar shop, something along those lines. In fact, I just recently found a nice cigar shop here in Kuala Lumpur, and I might go try a cigar in one of the later videos. But as far as tobacco use goes, it's never been a big part of my life, and it still isn't. In fact, I don't really even find myself craving tobacco use. You see, the idea of inhaling smoke into my lungs, I'm not good with that. The idea of puffing smoke and tasting it on the palate of a cigar, that I'm okay with. But even then, I practice moderation. One thing that I noticed about myself a long time ago is that I have an affinity for people that seek excellence. It doesn't matter if they are in the top of their field in being a ballerina. I watch documentaries on it. I love it. It doesn't matter if it's some of the most amazing whiskeys that have ever been created. I want to try some. I want to smell it. I want to taste it. Some of the finest tobacco makers in the world. I want to try their cigar. And I do it in moderation because it's not about the amount of use that matters to me. It's about the individuals that are involved and the organization that's involved seeking excellence. I have an affinity for people who seek excellence in their lives and with what they do. And that's what I like to surround myself with. And I find myself sometimes enjoying a nice cigar for that reason, a great glass of wine, or an exotic small batch whiskey of some kind. I do all this with moderation in mind and tell myself, look, this is not about how much of it I'm consuming. This is about actually respecting and enjoying this and making it part of the joy of my life. You know, a lot of you have mentioned that I travel alone and that I don't seem to be in any relationships. Well, I'll tell you, I treat relationships as something I take in moderation. It's not about the number of partners that I have in life. It's not about the number of people that I date or that I'm spending time with. For me, it's about the quality of life. And I have fewer people that become members of my, relationship circle in any way. But at the same time, they tend to be people that I find to be fascinating and that I actually want to spend time with, and that they have a good heart. I like them to have the same moral and ethical framework that I have. And I also want to learn more about them because I find people fascinating. You see, I do relationships in moderation, and I think that's healthy. I think it's healthy mentally, and I think it's healthy emotionally to not have so many relationships. I know people that just gotta be in a relationship all the time. They break up, they get right into another relationship, divorced, right into another marriage. And it's like, geez, take a break to figure out who you are. Take a moment to figure out what makes you tick before you start worrying about what makes someone else tick. Understand yourself a little bit more. Make it a 80-20 split. Spend 80% of your time trying to work with yourself, the relationship you have with yourself, and 20% of your time worrying about other people. One of the most interesting aspects that I've noticed when it comes to trends on fitness and trends on motivation, motivational speakers out there, is they talk about getting less sleep. And we even have like people that are stars and people from Hollywood that have said, I get less sleep. I only sleep 4 hours a day. I only sleep 3 hours a day. I gotta tell you, of all the things to cut out, no way. I do not want to cut sleep out. If I absolutely have to, okay. If there's like a flight that I have to catch at 1 a.m, I know that's gonna mess up everything. And I'm gonna be messed up for a whole day afterwards too. But for the most part, I find sleep to be very important for my body, so I don't have aches, so that I'm capable of actually taking on the kind of days that I do. My days are long. I spend all day while the sun is up, I'm outside collecting footage and traveling around wherever I'm at. Then I go back to my room, eat dinner, and I start the editing process. These are long days, and I can't do that without good sleep. Mentally and physically, sleep is so important. So I don't get into this whole, I'm only getting 4 hours of sleep and I'm so productive. No, that's not me at all. In moderation, if the time comes that I need to cut out sleep, that's one thing. But other than that, I want all the sleep I can get. I want my body to wake me up in the morning. And if I do set an alarm, then I try to get to bed in time that I get plenty of sleep.
Again, you know what's best for you, no one else. All we're doing is having a conversation, and I'm telling you what I'm doing in my life, living my life in moderation. Next, I'm going to do a hotel review of where I'm staying now, but first, I want to show you how I use the monorail and the MRT. And as I have shown you before, you get yourself a token using these little kiosks. Go down into the MRT, which is extensive. It's incredible how public transportation is it gets you everywhere. It's pervasive throughout Kuala Lumpur. It shows you exactly what side you want to be on and which of the two MRTs you want to jump on to get to your destination. And along the way, it shows you electronically where you are and where you're heading to. Once I get to my next destination, I'm going to head up top and I'm going to connect to the monorail. That's one of the nice things is that the MRT and the monorail, they have connection stations and you can basically get anywhere you want in the city of Kuala Lumpur. I don't need a scooter or a car. Here's the walkway heading over to the monorail system. From here, same thing. It says exactly which platform you want to be at to get to your destination. And these monorails are great, by the way. They come every 10 minutes and they get you to a lot of the destinations that I like to get to. Like I want to go down to KLCC, which is going to be down by the Twin Towers, the convention center. The monorail gets me to all of these. And you have a nice view along the way. When I'm done at the monorail, I head downstairs, and this one put me out less than a block away from the Double M Hotel. The Double M Hotel is a good travel hotel. It cost me about $16 a night, which is incredible. Wi-Fi included, all utilities included, water and coffee included, and cleaning every day. This room is just what I enjoy when I travel to Southeast Asia. I know it doesn't look very big, but really look at my life. I am outside every day, all day long.
I really appreciate all the time that you've spent with me today. We have gone through a lot. First of all, we talked about all the different things that right now everyone's like, you got to cut this out of your life. And I'm saying moderation, using common sense and moderating your use of things over cutting them out completely. But of course, as always, as I mentioned before, it's really up to you and what you want to do in your life. That's the most important. All we do here is have good discussions. Also, we're going to be hitting a lot more of Kuala Lumpur and other countries too. There's a lot coming up. There's lots of places in Southeast Asia that I want to take you to as we live overseas for low cost. And I'm glad that you spend that time with me and we travel around together. If you'd like to see more places in Southeast Asia this way, traveling as a minimalist, like and subscribe to the video. We'll talk again soon. Aloha.